The Union of Concerned Scientists released a report about how the mainstream media is covering climate change. And which of the big three networks do you think failed the worst? I mean, it's not even a question. Fox News. Obviously. So when you take a look at the chart here, you can see that the majority of Fox News coverage is misleading. In fact, let me give you specifics on all of the different channels. 92% of MSNBC's coverage was, quote, entirely accurate, according to the study. They also covered it more than anybody else with 132 total segments. CNN did 43 segments. 70% of them were accurate. So that's, worse than MSNBC and not nearly as much coverage. And Fox did a grand total of 50 segments, and only 28% of them were accurate. Now, I also have to say, I'm actually surprised that even 28% of the coverage on Fox was accurate. Like, that's better than I thought. I mean, I would have been surprised if it was fucking 15% of the coverage being accurate. I was expecting less than 10% of the coverage on Fox News to be accurate. I honestly wouldn't have been surprised if it was 0% of the Fox News coverage of climate change being accurate. So, in my mind, this isn't really surprising at all, this study. It just kind of reflects the reality of what we already knew. But I want to give MSNBC quite a bit of credit here, actually, because I'm always hard on MSNBC because I view them as the Democratic loyalist channel. A lot of people say, oh, they're the liberal channel or they're the progressive channel. No, they're not really liberal. They're not really progressive. They go where the Democratic Party goes. Okay, there's a few examples that are, where they are progressive or are liberal. Steve Kornacki sometimes, Chris Hayes does a good job, and Rachel Maddow sometimes. But the rest of them, Al Sharpton, Chris Matthews, Ed Schultz, unfortunately, they just kind of fall in line with Democratic Party loyalism and what does the president want, we're with him. And that's no better, I mean, it is better than Fox News being the Republican channel. But sometimes the Democrats are also up the ass of the establishment and the corporations and big business and the rich, and you want somebody who's totally independent on these issues. So, but on the issue of climate change, you do have to give credit because they are leading, they are doing a good job. There's not, as big of a corporate bend or a partisan bend to kind of not necessarily conceal the facts, but just stick with the party line. So credit to them for doing a good job on that. And this should give everybody a good idea of who's telling you the truth and who's lying to you. That when one channel lines up with the science over 90% of the time, maybe they're doing a better job, okay? But I'm actually going to take it a step further and be a little bit of a dick. If they included TYT Network on that list, myself, David Pakman, Sam Cedar, the Young Turks main channel, the rest of us, here's what percentage of climate change coverage, and let's extrapolate it. Let's say science coverage. Here's how accurate we would be. 100%. So I'm not bragging or anything. Actually, that's exactly what I'm doing. But I think we would top all these different networks. We just got to try to get our views up as high as these networks. These guys being on national TV, they have a guaranteed audience, even though they're kind of sucking in the ratings recently. So we got to try to beat them in that respect and take over, because I do think that the future is going to be new media anyway. So this old guard is going to die out slowly but surely, and we'll be there to replace it with 100% truth. Not even the best of them, which is 92%.